Tonight on the record, Donald Trump stirring up yet another controversy. A big firestorm now swirling around the GOP presidential frontrunner. Trump coming under fire, laying out a proposal calling for, quote, a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what is going on. And just moments ago, news that Trump is reportedly planning a trip to the majority Muslim nation of Jordan. Now, that will be later this month. And right now, Trump's statement on banning Muslims drawing huge criticisms, not just from Democrats, but from his Republican rivals and even GOP leadership.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States.
This is not conservatism.
And you know how you make America great again? Tell Donald Trump to go to hell.
It feels like the world is going crazy.
We have no idea who's coming into our country. We have no idea if they love us or if they hate us. We have no idea if they want to bomb us.
I disagree with that proposal. I like Donald Trump.
That's not a program. That's not a plan. This is serious business.
What he said yesterday was unacceptable.
It's going to get worse and worse. You're going to have more World Trade Centers.
I just think it's a silly idea. It's not going to happen.
What was proposed yesterday is not what this party stands for, and more importantly, it's not what this country stands for.
The On the Record political panel is here from the Boston Globe, Matt Weiser, and from Town Hall, Guy Benson. Matt, do you think Donald Trump cares what his competitors are saying about him tonight?
I don't think he does, although we are seeing sort of more criticism than we have in a lot of his past controversies, and more widespread from Paul Ryan, you know, sort of down the list, down to county chairmen, are very critical of him. It'll be interesting to see whether this impacts him. His poll numbers are still quite high. The new polls out today showing that he still has a pretty big lead.
Guy, one thing a lot of people didn't include when they talked about his quote is that he did put somewhat of a limitation on it. He said until the representatives got under control. However, he didn't mention the First Amendment, which talks about freedom of religion.
Well, I have no idea what his policy actually is, and I'm not sure if he really does either, because yesterday we were told it would include Muslim citizens of the United States. Then today that's no longer the case. The temporary element of this so-called proposal is that it will be in place until we figure out, quote, what the hell is going on. What does that mean? And what is the benchmark at which point we do know what the hell is going on and Muslims can then re-enter the country? I think he needed to change some momentum in the race. He wanted attention. This is the playbook that he uses, and it has succeeded on that front.
You know, Matt, he is winning in Iowa in the polls. He's winning nationally. He has completely turned the media upside down. People are having fights with him all day long today. Every time anyone gets near him, he has a fight. But the viewers, the voters, is that when I look online, I look at all these websites and all these comments, I don't see that there's a huge outcry among the voters. Now, it just may be, you know, they're not the ones hitting the computer.
It is extraordinary the way he is able to drive the conversation. Even at the White House briefing today, 45 minutes spent on Donald Trump, you know, before we get to ISIS, before we get to, you know, the attacks in California just a week ago. You know, so it is amazing how he's controlling the discussion, which is sort of drowning out a lot of the other candidates.
If you think for 1 second he's changed his mind, here's what he just told Barbara Walters.
Do you regret your ban on Muslims, which some people think is un-American?
Not at all. We have to do the right thing. Somebody in this country has to say what's right. I have great respect and love. I have people that I have tremendous relationships with. They're Muslim. And Barbara, they agree with me 100%. It's short term. Let our country get its act together. They knocked down the World Trade Center. They tried doing it twice. Other things have happened. They have there are people that have tremendously bad intentions. We have to be tough, we have to be smart, and we have to be vigilant.
What is short term?
It could be very quickly if our country...
Guy, not at all when he's asked to back down, and he probably has lots of business investments in many of these countries in the Middle East. I'm sure there are a lot of Trump hotels.
Yeah, he does. And, of course, he's going to say that. Now, he has backed down from the citizen element of it. He did that in about 24 hours. But he says we have to be smart and vigilant. He was asked a number of questions just today. How would this work? Okay, so you show up at our shores, and he said, well, you just ask them if they're Muslim. And they say yes or no, and then, what, you get door A or door B? I'm curious how that, in his mind, translates into smart, workable policy.
Matt, the fact that he's walked it back a bit, And the fact that we are just hearing the AP is reporting that Trump plans to visit majority Muslim Kingdom of Jordan by the end of the month, and I assume he'll also go to some refugee camps there, shows that, you know, he's taking this head on.
And that's going to be, he's also, I think, requested a meeting with the King of Jordan, King Abdullah. So it's going to be an interesting meeting if he gets it. And sort of how he's treated there. This is not his base, you know, in these majority Muslim countries. And particularly in the wake of these comments, how that trip is going to go will be an interesting one to be on.
I guess the headline is stay tuned. Stay tuned. Anyway, gentlemen, thank you both. And just